Hey guys, this is Holland with the Wolverine.com, and we're back with another episode of the Michigan Recruiting Report. Today, we're going to be breaking down the 5 biggest risers in the latest On3 industry rankings for the 2024 recruiting class. So, the 5 commits that jumped up the most spots. And we're going to start off with Josiah Edmond out of Indiana, who committed to Michigan this summer, moving up 334 spots to the number 311 overall recruit nationally. Quite the jump for Josiah Edmond, and a guy that I've been high on since he committed. You know, this is a kid that really flew under everybody's radar, including Michigan. In fact, he just randomly showed up to a Michigan camp in June, blew the staff away with his testing as well as, his performance in one-on-ones and drills. They kept him on the radar when Michigan missed out on their top targets, Bryce West and Aaron Scott. They made the move with Edmond, and he immediately jumped in the class. And now he's proving to be one of the better cornerbacks in the 2024 class. He's had a fantastic senior year. I've likened him to Jair Hill, who signed with Michigan last year and ended up in the top 100. Similar size to Hill at 6'1", 180 pounds. Similar athletic profile, much like Hill. Edmond is a Swiss Army knife at the high school level, playing everything in the secondary as well as wide receiver and even punter. Jair Hill was also the high school's punter and was one of the most feared offensive weapons in the state of Illinois. So I think in Edmond, the Wolverines really found a true diamond in the rough. And once other sites update their rankings, you could see him move up even more. I have him graded as a top 300 recruit. Next on the list is another cornerback, Jeremiah Lowe out of Frederick Douglass in Kentucky, who also gave Michigan a verbal commitment in the summer. Lowe moved up 190 spots to number 1,167. So the latter number is still very low. And it looks like the industry ranking moved a little bit. So he's now 1,171. But look, I think with Lowe, he's a really interesting prospect. He's still more of a sleeper candidate. 5'11", 170 pounds. Not super exciting from an athletic profile, but just a really good cover corner that consistently makes plays on the ball. Michigan co-defensive coordinator Steve Klinkskow has had an opportunity to see Lowe live multiple times, actually, because Klinkskow's son was a teammate of Lowe, and college coaches are allowed to go to their son's game. So he got more of a look at Lowe than most college coaches around the country. And, Klink is usually really good at finding under the radar guys. And, while this bump might not seem super significant in the grand scheme of things, since he's still ranked in the 1000s, 190 spots is still a pretty big jump and shows some positive movement for Lowe. Next up on the list is Devin Baxter, who moved up 112 spots in the latest industry ranking. Baxter now up to number 241. You see 2 services now have him ranked inside the top 225. I think once the other services update their rankings, they'll also bump Baxter up. This is a kid, if you watched our YouTube show, that I've been high on for several months, dating back to early spring. I think Michigan found a guy with a ton of upside, with David Ojabo like upside. And I'm not, saying that lightly. I really do think Baxter can be that type of talent. 6'5", 235 pounds, really long, really athletic. Started off his career as a quarterback, transitioned to being a pass rusher, really smart kid. You see a lot of ability with Devin Baxter. He's a ball of clay that needs to be molded, but man, he has some of the most ridiculous upside in the entire class, and not just in Michigan's class, in the 2024 recruiting class as a whole. So I think if Baxter is able to hit that ceiling, you have a guy that, could turn into an early round NFL draft pick. So I think the bump was definitely warranted for Baxter. Next up on the list is running back Micah Kapana out of Las Vegas. goes to powerhouse Bishop Gorman and moved up 80 spots, now ranked as the number 426 recruit nationally. Kapana is an interesting one because you're getting such a small sample size with him. He doesn't get a lot of carries for Bishop Gorman because Bishop Gorman basically blows everybody out. It's really tough to elevate him into the top 300 without seeing more film on him, but he's only getting a few touches a week, so it's hard to get more film on him. However, On3 bumped him up to a 4-star. All the other sites have him in as a high 3-star. I have him in that range as well, but I mean, Kapana could easily outplay all these rankings once we see more of him, whether that's, in the last few weeks of the season or at Michigan. I think he has a lot of ability. He's definitely a great complement to fellow running back commit Jordan Marshall. Marshall is great between the tackles. Kapana is a home run hitter. That's a great receiver out of the backfield and can, kind of provide a little bit more juice. So, Kapana getting a bump there. And, if Bishop Gorman plays some stiffer competition in the playoffs, then maybe we'll get to see, more of Kapana on tape. But I think he's one of the more interesting prospects in Michigan's class. And lastly, we have Andrew Sprag moving up 64 spots and is now in the top 100. Really excited about Sprag making this big of a jump in the industry ranking. Sprague's another guy that I've been high on for a while now, the number 84 overall recruit nationally. When Zach Libby and I had our recruiting draft here on this YouTube channel, I made sure to take Sprag even before he was committed to Michigan. You see the size and right away that stands out. 6'8", 295 pounds. Kind of reminds me of Andrew Gentry in high school, just overly dominant at the high school level. But on top of having that size, he's really athletic. He's great on film when you watch him get to that second level to pick up linebackers, or you see him moving in space on screens and short passes. So a lot to like about Andrew Sprag. I think he's Michigan's future cornerstone at the left tackle position. So those were the 5 biggest risers on the On3 industry rankings as far as Michigan commits go. For more Michigan recruiting news, head over to the Wolverine.com and subscribe now. 50% off this week for new annual subscribers. Also like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for free.